The race to nail down a temporary spending bill before tomorrow's deadline for a government shutdown is facing Republican resistance over defense spending, while Democrats dig in their heels on domestic issues. Watch.
This week, let's dispense with the arbitrary standard, as we did earlier this year, and provide our warfighters with the funding they need to accomplish the task that we put before them.
But the Republicans decided that tax breaks for the wealthiest 1% were more important than addressing the crises in the lives of the American people.
Joining me now, California Congressman John Garamendi, a Democrat who deals with defense and domestic issues as a member of the Armed Services and Transportation and Infrastructure Committees. Sir, thank you for being with me today.
Thank you.
Tell me, what are your sticking points on this spending bill?
Well, I think you just heard the fundamental problem is that we just spent $1.5 trillion on a tax break for the super wealthy and for America's biggest corporations. So the money's gone. It's about a couple of $100 billion a year that will not be available to fund anything in the coming year. That's 2018. And so we really have to be very, very careful how we pick and choose what it is we're going to do. Certainly the military is absolutely important. However, in that military appropriation, which, by the way, was never worked out with the Senate, that's the House version of the appropriation, never negotiated with the Senate at all. And the word I have is the Senate goes, no, we're not going to accept the House version on that appropriation. So that's really an underlying and, frankly, a fundamental foundational problem on the defense appropriation. The rest of it has to do with certainly the Children's Health Insurance Program. It is funded under the continuing resolution for 2 months. But keep in mind, it's an insurance policy, so you have to pay up front. And so I presume that the states are going to have to front the remaining 10 months up front and then hope that Congress comes through later with the remaining 10 months of that bill.
So I know that I don't think anybody really wants a government shutdown. NBC,
sure.
Wall Street Journal did a poll, and they asked, who would you blame, the Republicans or the Democrats, if there's a shutdown? Well, it's split pretty evenly. 31% would blame the Republicans, 29% would blame the Democrats. From your perspective, and you're looking at transportation and infrastructure, how is the Congress going to find the money to try to do something big next year, given that we just did the tax cut?
I'm reminded of that movie, Show Me the Money. Mm-hmm. It's gone. You just gave the money to the top 1% of Americans, 83%.
Well, of course there's disputes about that, but...
No, that's a fact. 83% of it went to corporations and the 1%. So it's gone. Whether it went there or anyplace else, it is gone. So how do we fund infrastructure?
Yeah.
Big problem. We won't be able to do it. And at the same time, you've got the military, the demands for the military. What is very, very clear.
And you have a Congress that hasn't been able to tackle discretionary spending and the entitlements that squeeze that out. But
well, that's precisely where the Republicans are going to take us. Mr. Ryan has been very clear. He is going to go after Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And in fact, Medicare is already lined up, absent a clause in this continuing resolution, which may or may not survive, is a $25 billion immediate hit on the Medicare program.
I think the Social Security and Medicare, I think they were setting aside. But let me ask you about messaging on the tax bill, because so the Republicans had this big victorious moment yesterday at the White House, and right on the heels of that, almost as they're speaking at the White House, several companies made big announcements. AT&T, Comcast, and the Fifth Third Bancorp. They're planning to give employees either bonuses. CVS and FedEx say they are planning to hire more workers. The Bancorp and Wells Fargo increasing minimum wage to $15 an hour. This is all right before Christmas, all of this news. Do you think the Democrats are sort of missing an opportunity here to have been a part of something that people might see as beneficial to them?
Well, certainly in the short term, these are going to be very helpful. There's no doubt about it. I would keep in mind that there is a $15 minimum wage in Wells Fargo's hometown at San Francisco. So basically in that community and in many others across the nation, they're simply obeying the law. But it's all good. Now, the question is, they've already sitting on $2.5 trillion of cash, the top 500 corporations in America. Why didn't they spend that? Why didn't they use that to create more jobs, to create higher wages, better pays, and a better future for Americans? Good that they're doing what they're doing now. Hopefully that will continue, although there's considerable doubt. Do keep in mind that each one of the CEOs of those very same companies have said their priority is to buy back stock and to deliver higher dividends. In other words, to use perhaps the great majority of whatever new additional cash is available for stock buybacks and dividends. So who gets that benefit? Again, the super wealthy.
Well, there's also some unions that invest, of course. But, yes, it'll be interesting to see how the politics and the economics plays out on this.
Very important.
Congressman
very important.
John Garamendi, thank you so much, and have a great holiday.
And you too. Thank you.